Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to the course Crisis and Conflict Management, Global Peace and Terrorism, PCR 410, 710, and GPT 413, 713 for both the masters and the graduate students. As we go through this course, you realize, like I said earlier, that there is no a singular concept or definition that readily befits what we are going to discuss. However, from the experiential, when you read and you hear authors, scholars discuss these issues, they discuss these issues based on the templates that their background offers them capacity to discuss. Thank you for getting along with me. First, conflict, by definition, is the presence of extended disagreement, struggle, fight, battle between two or more parties in regards to interests. So it is interest of people that is the root cause of conflicts. It could be as a result of divergent ideas or perceptions. It could be as a result of desires or principles or expectations. Such parties may be said to be incompatible, hostile, or enemies. In fact, let's draw home. A husband and wife can have a conflict situation. Children and parents have conflict situation. But we cannot define such a crisis situation as one that they are enemies. So like I said, depending on the background of who is making the presentation, or what we call a case study, certain issues may not be acceptable on all fronts. Oh, thank you. So conflicts do arise due to variant customs, values, behaviors, and understanding. Now let us look at four types of conflicts. Four types of conflicts. Number one, conflict with self. An individual can have conflict with himself. You have a desire for one thing, you have the money to buy a particular brand of car, but your inward being says it's another brand of car. And so with the money in your hand, you stagger between opinion on which one to choose of the two vehicles that are before you. So conflicts can be within an individual or a group of people. And such we categorize as intra-conflict, conflict within a body. Conflict could be with other parties, and we call such inter-conflict. There could be conflict with the environment. We are experiencing right now what is called global warming. Men want to dispose refuse in a certain way. But the refuse we dump becomes a cause of crisis between us and our environment. The environment may appear to be silent, but the result of it will cause problem. For example, blocking of waterways by humans who dump refuse. When the erosion or flood result from such dumping, we say the environment has rebelled against the man. Conflict between environment and humanity. Then there's a conflict between humans or the natural world and the spiritual world or the supernatural world. Let's go to what crisis is. Crisis is defined by the Merriam-Webster dictionary as an unstable, crucial, or state of affairs in which a decisive change is impending, especially one with distinct possibility or a highly undesirable outcome. we do have family crisis, we do have financial crisis, national crisis, productivity crisis, manpower crisis, health crisis, and other kinds of crisis. From the aforementioned, we recognize as a faculty that conflicts and interests may lead to losses on productivity, on accomplishment of goals and objectives. Conflicts and crises can lead to wars, destruction and loss of lives, as the case may apply. Hence, there is a need for management of conflicts and crises. Therefore, there's a need for a proper management of conflicts and crisis. Every individual and organization has peculiar needs, as well as conflicts, as well as crises within itself and other parties external to it. That said, it is not possible to exhaust ways and manners for managing such situations across all boards. Okay. I'd like us to look at sources of crisis. A crisis can stem from internal or external causes, and this could have very harmful effect on organizations. Sometimes damages accruing from crisis can be so damaging as to put businesses out of expected ends. Let's look at losses businesses suffer as a result of crisis. You're a business owner. Our intention in this course is to see how we can mitigate, how we can manage, how we can navigate our businesses out of crisis and out of conflicts. So, losses businesses suffer as a result of crisis can include customer flight. When customers begin to take off, it could become a problem for an organization. Damage to or destruction of assets such as buildings, machinery, etc. It could be as a result of natural causes or human pillage. Number 3, disruption of operations. Number 4, exit of key employees. Higher expenditures, legal claims and damages, loss of intellectual property and proprietary information. 8, loss of key products. 9, negative environmental impacts, physical injury to workers or other stakeholders. Number 11, reduced access to credit and worsening loan terms. Number 12, regulatory scrutiny and enforcement. 13, reputation harm, weakened competitive position, and erosion of market share. Let me just put it as a 15th. It's not exhaustive, but something for us to learn. Weakened morale among employees. Look at a company, a case study of a situation where the product of that company does not meet the quality that a competing organization provides. When customers realize that a particular organization offers a better quality or more quantity at a lesser cost, it does lead to customer flight. And when the customers leave an organization for another organization, it will lead to loss in revenue. And a loss in revenue will eventually affect the profit of the organization. Think of an organization that set up a business with an asset base of 3 billion naira. And in the course of a year's business, they are not able to sell and make a profit of ₦1,000,000, you know very well that that organization will not go well. So, as a result of issues like this, losses that an organization can experience, it therefore raises the cause, the reason for which there is need to manage crisis in an organization. Okay. Now, I want to share with us the 4 P's of crisis management. The 4 P's. That's the use of the letter P in 4 ways, in 4 words that will help us to understand crisis management. Number 1, prevent. Number 2, plan. Number 3, practice. Number 4, perform. Companies seek ways that will help them to prevent crisis. They plan on how to mitigate crisis, and where crisis actually arise, because crisis can never be a thing that an organization does not experience. So when it comes in, when an organization finds itself or herself in a crisis situation, then it must raise up a practice with which to mitigate, to handle, to ameliorate the effect of that crisis on the organization, in order that the goal and the objective of that organization be fully accomplished. Then the last one is to perform. Based on knowledge and by experience, an organization that is going through a crisis that lasts more than 1 week, more than a day, more than a week, more than a month, will begin to get used to how to handle that crisis, even right in your home. You know, when you are exposed to a crisis situation, you begin to find ways on how to manage it. And when the crisis begins to get prolonged, like the COVID-19, the nations of the world began to find ways to live with it. So we were told we must have to live with it. So there comes a time that we just go along with such a crisis, but at a reduced destruction to organizational goals. These terms remind companies to minimize threats, develop crisis plans, rehearse these plans, and execute them effectively when needed. No business is immune to crisis, so every company needs to understand the basis of crisis, or the basics of crisis management. But what is crisis management? This is the process of preparing for, managing, and limiting damage from unexpected negative events at an organization or within an organization. This practice includes anticipating threats, developing strategies to minimize harm, and implementing these strategies when they occur. Crisis shares certain attributes regardless of the size or type of organization. A crisis poses a threat to an organization, and some elements of surprise requires action to change the course of events and demands fast decision making. So these are the issues. Now I want us to look at what the role of leadership is in crisis management. What is the role of leaders? As a leader in an organization, you know, in every organization there are departmental units, and the departmental units have leaders. Okay, so what is the role of leadership in crisis management? A leader should be able to feel the early signs of a crisis and warn employees against the negative consequences of the same. It is the duty of the leader to take precautionary measures to avoid an emergency situation. This is called signal detection. One should lead from the front. A leader should lead from the front. Show confidence and steadiness. Take complete charge of the situation. If a leader does not show a competence in handling a crisis situation, those that follow him will be weakened and the crisis will overwhelm the organization. Number two, managers should have full control on the employees. They should know what is happening around. Any issue neglected in the initial stages might be a major concern later. Therefore, it's very important that a leader in an organization, whether as a whole, the leader over the whole organization or unit leaders, should learn to decipher early warnings of crisis. One should not ignore even minor issues. Number four, leaders should interact with employees more often. Let them feel that you are there for them. Impart necessary crisis management training to the employees, so that's to give them a sense of belonging in the first place, and to also prepare them so that when a crisis arises, they know how to handle them. Number five, planning is essential to avoid emergency situations. Make sure everyone at the workplace is well informed about emergency situations. Number six, identify the important processes and systems which keep functioning for the smooth running of the organization, and develop alternative plans with the intention to correct and to accurately inform all who are in the employment of the organization. Number seven, don't let negativity and apathy creep in to your organization. Motivate employees to behave in this is what I want to say. And motivate employees to believe in themselves and the organization. Don't avoid stakeholders, external parties, and most importantly, don't avoid Jesus Christ.